So, finally, summarizing this Black Sea Grain Initiative, we would like to know that how is it going to affect the logistics? Do this initiative or the expiry of this initiative will, in any case, affect the oil trading, oil exports?
Okay. So let's connect all these things. That's what it means. Also, in terms of the newer institutions which are
Upcoming.
catching traction now, BRICS, SCO,
Right.
G20, Eurasian group for the time being, African Union,
Right.
ASEAN of course is there, and the union which is developing in South Africa, while BRICS and SCO are cutting it across. While Eurasian Forum is basically Central Asia along with Russia. So we can look at those things. We can connect it to de-dollarization.
Right.
We can connect it to, therefore, the pressure which are there from the West that these things don't happen. Because after all, it's bread and butter and jam for them also. It is certainly to do with logistics. Because India and Africa had not seen huge infrastructure projects in the modern era. They had them huge infrastructure projects, the old times. Huge dams used to be set up. And we have granaries from Harappan times and so on.
Right.
But today, the 56 million tons which we're storing with FCI is actually not sufficient. We have a very good crop next month. We won't know where to keep it.
Right.
This is where now the problem with Ukraine is also going to be there, where to keep that crop which is coming right now. And actually also Russia. Because they are expected to also produce about 50 million tons of wheat.
But Ukraine agriculture, are we saying that it's going to...
I'll come to it. I'll come to it.
Okay.
If they can manage the logistics, there is no problem. If they cannot manage the logistics, therefore the importance of logistics. Therefore the importance of understanding BRI initiative also, the Belt and Road Initiative of China, where they're spending trillions of dollars, not billions, in developing railroads from parts of China to all the way to Europe, all the way connecting one way or the other to Middle East, in the rings around ASEAN, and Central Asia, of course. Central Asia is already working. Now, all these are huge projects, which frankly speaking, the West has not even been able to conceptualize. Certainly not for these areas. And in their case, yes, in the past, yes, some Hoover dams, so on and so forth. And we did that in India when we were close to the Soviets.
Right.
During Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru's time. The dams, the heavy electrical plants and the nuclear plants and so on came during that area. They came during that area.
Came during that time.
Okay, so now, therefore there is an ideological approach to it also. And none of those things you will find to be owned by the Russians. Remember that. Unlike what happened with the West. Because the model is capitalism, right? And that model is cooperation in socialism. So every time, everything I see now in the African Summit, the word cooperation is used. Every time I see anything which the foreign affairs spokesperson of China says, it is cooperation. So they always talk about cooperation. And here it's called investment.
So are we saying that when USSR was over, the era of socialist movements or socialistic economy got over? Then capitalistic is now under...
No, not really the era of socialist economy. Because we don't understand this, therefore we don't realize what is the Ukrainian-Russian problem. One of every plant there has been made by the Soviets. Every plant, including the Zaporozhye plant, the nuclear plant.
Yes, somewhere down the line I read now the world will be of mixed economies. Now the world will be of...
No, that is simplistic. And I think we will need a separate session to discuss that. Now coming to this, we will need a separate session to discuss that. Not that Chinese are going to just put in money without any return. Russians can do it. Nobody can do that. You can't let your capital be eaten away, right? There has to be some return, direct, indirect, and so on. And that's fair. After it's taxpayers' money you're giving.
Mm.
You can't donate it away. So now connecting this, therefore, whether it was the oil issue last year or it is the grain issue now, it is basically a logistics issue. It's a management issue. You forget about policy level decisions. Policy level decisions are constrained by how you can manage logistics. And that is why we are saying if Ukraine cannot ship grain out of Odisha, okay, because you don't give equal right to Russia to do it. You have alternatives, but you have no alternatives. And so when you know alternatives, what happens? There's granary which is already full and their crop is coming in. Unless it does not go out, there's no storage. So it will rot in the fields, just like it used to do in India, right? If it rots in the field, you're not able to sell it out. Farmers are not going to get money. Okay? Farmers cannot crop the next because it is industrial agriculture these days. What is the value addition at different levels? One is what nature has given, but now you need huge machines to plow it. You need huge machines to harvest it. You need huge silos to this thing, and you need huge system of transportation.
Right.
So it's basically industrial agriculture. So if you're this thing about that production, just see any factory chocolates, is not selling. Now where are you going to store all those chocolates? So it's cheese or something like that. Same thing. It is considered as a commodity, no, but it's not consumed as a commodity. Right? So the value addition. So we go back to it, what the Africans are saying is we want value addition. They are not talking too much about it because there are some countries in Africa which have excess oil now. Nigeria is one of the examples, Eritrea is also there. But they will need oil also. And we have started today talking in the management, reliable customer. India is not a reliable customer. China is not a reliable customer. Russia is not a reliable supplier. Nonsense, but that's what it said. If they were not a reliable supplier, I've been mentioning, from one end of Siberia to the other end of Europe, why will I put a pipeline 30 years ago? I am putting my $14 billion of that time. Now, similarly, if China is putting some $15 billion there and $50 billion there and all that, they expect some return to come over a period of time. But since the others are not doing it that well, they had thought it will flop. But because of that large amount of investment, Dr. Kalra, please notice one thing. A lot of people have not noticed. That they have made World Bank and Asian Development Bank.
Probably to park their investments?
No, they're not getting money because they don't have projects to finance. They don't have projects to finance, but they are actually blaming China for debt trap. And they are not looking at how much money they have waived, and they are not listening. Yesterday, what Putin has said, that $24 billion will be waived. कभी सुना उन्होंने $24 billion सबने मिला के वेव किया हो? नहीं, हाँ, so reality is this. So as I said, these are birth pangs of going from unipolar to multipolar. And this pressure of sanctions is every day it is increasing the pace of creating an alternative system. Not one, two alternative systems. Not two, three alternative systems. China, Russia, India, around which countries will get revolve. Revolve in the sense they would have their own zones, right? 18 countries are today willing to do this. If with Putin this request is accepted, it will be accepted because he is also giving you free grain there. He will be making sure that you get your oil. See? They need customer, right? They need oil. And by Russia तो फिर भी discounted price पे दे देगा बाकी American नहीं देंगे. वो the companies है ना.
They are more capitalistic in approach.
No, companies they have to maximize the profit.
Right.
Here it's not the issue of maximizing profit. It's also maximizing goodwill.
Right. Relations, global relations.
It's global relations. It's also reliability because of that. तो reliability में क्या है? एक बारी उनका oil में तो बन गया इंडिया और चाइना के साथ में सर्किट. तो बाकी दुनिया भूल जाता है. But Africa needs it. It doesn't matter. Yesterday I have read, evening, after talking to you, that Saudi Arabia is spending going to spend $10 billion to set up a huge refinery in Gwadar. Gwadar is a port which is of the BRI project.
Okay.
Coming.
From China.
No, Gwadar is in Pakistan, right? But the whole thing, of course, it's connected to China. And it goes on the top of us in Balochistan. Kyrgyzstan, yeah. So, if the moment we have good relationship with China, we can connect it into the BRI. But so this refiguring of the supply chains, while the West and its think tanks and academia also are talking about improving the reliability of the supply chains. Actually, it is an alternative system which is getting developed now. You are saying to Russia that your ships will not be insured by us. Sanctions, right? And they can't go to ports because they're saying insured nahi hai. So what has happened? In 6 months' time, they have now their own insurance companies. हमारे पास भी कैपिटल है, ऐसी बात नहीं. हमको भी पता है कितना लॉस होता है वैसे. वो तो आपकी मोनोपोली है, इसलिए आप ठोको मारते हो जाएगा, एक आधा तो हो जाएगा अपना ना. So the alternative insurance system. In India, they were putting pressure on their own companies not to deal to bring the oil here. So 30 new traders have come up. And there is not a single ship they have hired from anybody else. There are new guys who have been offering shipping services. Now, where that money has come from, etc., we just don't talk about it. Question is, you think that it's a monopoly. You think that without that, Russia will not be able to transport oil, right? Didn't take any time. Didn't take any time. Yes, it is a lot of problem. That is what Putin said. But I would have been able to give you more, etc., etc. But I have to make sure that if my transportation is not smooth because of sanctions, I may not be sure. I'm not going to overcome it.
Right. Because Russia will look for its economy also, no?
No, not for that either. To be able to handle the logistics of it. That is where I said last line, is that India putting constraint on its export has to be seen from a different angle why they have done it. Okay. There's no shortage here, nothing, there's no prices rising here. And if you do that, the price will actually fall down, the farmers will shout. But they've done it. On same day, 17th, 18th. Therefore, it is a concerted strategy.
Okay.
Because
cooperative movement.
No, it's more than that.
Okay.
It's a solid handshake. And that handshake is that while Russia does not have a logistics system and supply chain system of 100 plus countries, but India has for rice. They need it for fertilizer. We have extra fertilizer or can produce it. तो भैया अगर ये दोनों चीजें हमने मिला दी तो हम तो काटल हो गए ऊपर की तरह. राइट. तो फिर ये हमारे पास हाथ जोड़ने आएंगे जो हमारी शिपिंग है. घाटा बढ़ रहा है. We are unprofitable. Or your own guys will develop. So Russia, while dealing with India, will deal with the traders here, 30 traders, who can then supply to Sri Lanka and Bangladesh and Pakistan and Afghanistan and everybody else in the area. So Russia doesn't have to bother all the way. Russia just comes and drops it in Bombay or Tamil Nadu or Gujarat coast, and you do that. So therefore, this is a game of now logistics, readjustments. It is a game of coping with the monopoly which certain Western companies and Western countries had created.
Right.
As far as Africa is concerned, for them the colonial exploitation is not only fresh, but it is there today also. Because all their economic enterprises, all these things are controlled by them. Still. So, if they have to improve their growth, the economic development, social development, etc., they have to come out of it. Who would they tie up? Somebody who they have good experience in the past.
Right.
Russia and India helped all these fellows in their independence movements. Okay? How many of the West countries helped them for their independence movements? They were opposing it. So where is the heart there? Heart is with them. हमारे वो कहने से कुछ नहीं होता कि लेफ्टिस्ट हैं और सोशलिस्ट हैं और कम्युनिस्ट हैं और डिक्टेटर हैं और ये उनको तो पता भी दीज गाइज हैव बीन देयर फॉर आवर हेल्प. अगर कोविड का टाइम आया उन्होंने कुछ नहीं दिया, यूएन वालों ने WHO ने कुछ नहीं दिया, तो इंडिया वालों ने तो दिया, रशिया वालों ने भी दिया, चाइना वालों ने भी दिया, मुफ्त दिया, बाकी सप्लाई भी मुफ्त दी. तो बाकी वो तो आप ढोल बजाते हो यूएन का और ये रियलिटी में आप कहाँ पे हो? रियलिटी में आप कहाँ पे हो? आप हमारे बच्चों को लेते हो एट जीरो फीस फॉर स्टडिंग इन योर मेडिसिन स्कूल एंड इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज एंड ऑल दैट. रशिया वाले तो लेते हैं, आप लेते हो तो क्या करेंगे? वहीं भी बेचेंगे ना, फिर देन उनका आपस में नेटवर्क हो जाता है. सो व्हाट आई फेल्ट इज दैट दिस वाज अ वेरी पॉजिटिव एटमॉस्फेरिक्स अबाउट इट. Yes, Putin was little on a back foot because of the recent things and his arrest warrant and all that. But as I wrote in one of our groups, Arey bhai, you have an arrest warrant against him to go somewhere, but when he can call everybody to his own den, why does he bother? When he can call everybody to his own den. So what is this that I can't go to that bazaar?
Right.
No. So we will see further developments on it. In fact, today the final plan is other thing will come, but statements have been made very well, and the African countries heads of state they want that they have developed a development. They should have education. They want on social aspects, education, health, collaborations, cooperations, and they are very happy with the experience of Russia and China. Exceptions will always be there. But there will be some problem because of which something has happened. But they are the ones who have, both of them have waved off at least $50 billion of bad investments or loans.
Right.
So therefore, what my feeling is that they will come closer. This is an alternative system very developed. In the BRICS thing which is to come, they will consolidate this. They will develop a plan to have their own currency also, perhaps over a period of time, not over suddenly. And they will develop these relations of mutual currency trade, which is what helps the developing countries because they don't have the dollars.